Welcome to this converted mod map tour on Farming Simulator 19 with me, MrSealyp. As you can see already, this is a true first look map tour. Normally I have a look around the maps before I do the reviews, tours of them, guide around them, however you want to look at it. But this one's, I'm not going to. This was out on FS17. I remember doing a map tour on it on 17. So this is a conversion over. This has been converted over by FSI Team by MIKImapper, Miki48. So I'm going to go into this with the way I would normally tackle my first impressions as I kind of look around and work out what I'm going to do. I've got a list of things I need to make sure are on here, where they are, how they work, that kind of thing. And we'll gradually work through. So come along with me, let's have a look and see what this is all about. I'll probably do some comparisons if I can remember what the first one was like, but let's have a look. So, straight in. Now, what I did do before I came on here was, let's close that, I went on to the Farm Manager mode. On the Farm Manager mode, when I loaded to this exact point, those buildings were not in front of me. So I'm assuming that's going to be different. What I will do is just turn the speed down on the time. So we start. This is what I would normally do when I'm checking a map out myself. I have a look on the overview to see where I am. We are pretty much central on the map. This is where the main farm is. Now remember the 17 version of this, the buildings having those terracotta roofs, you kind of that real Tuscan kind of landscape feel to it. It looked amazing. So we are facing, actually look at that, we're facing south west-ish, kind of that direction, and we are at the main farm. What do we actually start with regard to land? Well, we start with this field 1 and the main farm area, and that's all we start with. The other thing I often check for when I first look into a map is the biogas plant. So what we'll do is we'll zoom in a bit until we get the list come up. Biogas plant is over here, right, because we know to use the biogas plant you have to own it. So how much is that? 341,000. It's a little bit pricey, especially if you're going to build up to doing that. Often when I do a let's play, as part of my setup of a let's play, I will put money in and I will buy that outright, because I just think biogas plant you should have anyway. I just think it's part of the, you know, it's like any other sell point on the map. I don't think you should have to buy it. That's just a personal opinion. Now, as far as sell points, what do we have? We have the barn, consorzio, cooperativa, hotel, sawmill, spinnery, and zuccherificio. I think that's the sugar refinery, which will probably take sugar beet and, oh, it takes potato as well. Potato, sugar beet, and sugar cane. So that's your sugar refinery. Sawmill, spinnery, they're obvious. Hotel takes, I would say milk and eggs probably. Yeah, milk and eggs. And the barn then takes your usual barn type paraphernalia. Are there contracts available? That would be the next thing I normally look for. There are contracts available. Some of the field sizes are quite big, so there's some good prices there actually. That's the next thing we are going to have a look at then. Is, oh, I shouldn't have come out of that menu, should I? Is the actual field sizes themselves. How much do they cost? 495 grand, 734. Wow. So this is not what I would consider to be a starting off map. If you're kind of getting used to the game and you want to build up, start from scratch type thing, bearing in mind you only start with field 1. To build up enough money and finances to buy some of these fields, 598, it's not going to be cheap. What other plots can we buy? Okay, so we can buy peripheral plots around the outside. The forestry area, if I remember correctly, is up in this top right hand corner, and it's got a raise in elevation up over there, and that's your log sell point, which is right by the forest. So that's actually quite handy. But then there are lots of plots to buy other than just the field plots. Okay then, so next up, what shall we have a look at? We've looked at contracts, biogas price we've looked at. Oh yeah, slots. So let's look at what we actually start with. Well, I'm on new farmer mode. I've got this set on normal setting. This will use up 471 of 1299 slots. That's not too bad at all actually for a starting map. with equipment and stuff as well. Now, when I had a look on Farm Manager briefly, it doesn't have any of this machinery. It doesn't have anything at all. And the starting slot count on Farm Manager was 331 of 1,299. That's pretty impressive. That's a pretty good starting point as far as slots go. But we do start with the Fendt Favourite 511. We've got Fiat 1300, TX32. That seems to be quite a common starting harvester now. TDK 1600, FarmTech, header, cultivator, seeder. We have the standard in-game cow pasture, large cow pasture, but we have a modded chicken coop. So as I scroll across these, what I will normally do is look and see anything that says mod underneath it. I've got all my mods turned off. So anything that says mod is a mod that the actual map makers have put in themselves. So it's interesting to then look and see what's available there. Large grain silo, bunker silo, open shed, which is also a mod, and you've got that red brickwork terracotta roof style to that. Tool shed mod. Oh, okay, so we've got quite a few then of modded stuff. Modded farmhouse, nice, okay. So have a look at that. What I will do now is scroll across and look at the mods themselves. So if we look at animal pens, we'll scroll across until we can find the modded ones to see what exactly they've given us. Okay, so the only modded animal pasture is the large chicken coop. For 40 grand, we'll hold 400 chickens, so that's obviously one they put in themselves. Now there are other buildings, so let's have a look at the farmhouse. Same price as a regular farmhouse, but it fits the map better than the kind of Bavarian style, kind of Austrian type house we're kind of used to getting. And then we'll have a look under sheds, because there are a few here. 32 grand, 10, 10. Okay, just those three. Are there any modded silos, or is it just the ones that are in game? Just standard in game. Okay, so we've got a few modded bits and bobs in there as well, which is pretty cool. So let's have an actual look around the map. Like I say, we're now facing south. So our main farmhouse, oh, actually we're right outside the main farmhouse. If I press L3 now, I'm not tired, but if you want to sleep through the night, that's where you sleep through the night. Nice design on the building. Like having the shed right there. Well, that's cool. So out into the main yard. Now this was always the main yard before, but obviously with placeables now and all the various different things you can do, map makers are thinking ahead to potentially what are people going to want to do. The chicken coop is right here, which we could sell, and that's the thing. All of these bits and bobs we can sell. Large grain silo. This is just a big flat open expanse. I mean, at the end of the day, it does give you a lot of scope for placing whatever you want, really. If you don't want the in-game ones, you can put any placeables you like. Change the bunker silo out, change these sheds out, whatever you really want to be looking at. Where is the rest of our machinery? We have the TX32. Now, looking out across the landscape, I love that view distance. You kind of got that haze off in the distance. I know it's only kind of like 10 past 8 in the morning, but it goes off up into those mountains, hillsides. Automatically you're kind of getting a nice, weirdly a kind of warming feel, and that's probably the colour palette used, because you've got this red brick and terracotta roof type thing. You get that kind of warming feel. Standard in-game cow pasture. So you've got your usual, water trough and where you buy and sell them from, where you get your milk from, feed trough, hay, straw, that kind of stuff. It's all where it should be. And that was it, wasn't it? Just chickens and cows. We didn't have sheep pasture or pigs. Right, let's find the rest of this machinery. So, there we go. Got a couple of tractors. Right, let's grab one of the tractors. That's something I need to do very, very quickly. Something I always do when I do my first map tours. Go into the menu. I will take automatic engine start off because I don't like that, and then I will go back up that way, turn the autosave off. So weeds are on as standard on this, plant withering is off, plant growth is fast, don't need to worry about any of the rest of that. And right, so let's have a look. Probably going to go anti-clockwise, I think, out towards the shop first, then we'll go up and round that kind of direction. This is a raised town, if I recall, from FS17, and it's amazing. It just looks so great on the landscape. So, let's go out towards the store. We need to find a track that runs out the back of the farm, or the side of the farm. So, Off we go. We get a nice feel for the landscape as well, you know, the rise and fall, the hills, sweeps, undulations, if that's what you're looking for. I know those people that play MrSealyp bingo on first look map tours are looking for certain words. I do often throw in there. Actually, there's a nice big flat expanse out here around the farm, which if you do want to expand your farm out, it's going to make life a lot easier. You haven't got to worry too much about a huge amount of landscaping. I mean, there's going to be an element of landscaping, but not too much. So I've got to get this right, because one road goes over the other and I need to get to the store. I think I need to go under here. I like this, the road sweeping under with the road going over the top of the bridge. Cool feel to it. I mean, in all essence, first indications, first feel is, apart from the fact you can tell the textures are different, you know, the lighting obviously is different because the new lighting dynamic, or the dynamic lighting and that kind of stuff. Not a huge amount has changed on the map, and this is the thing with conversions. That's when you start doing a map tour, you go around and you ask yourself, well, has anything changed? Has enough changed from the initial version to the new version? Are you seeing things that are glaringly obviously different? Buildings have changed. Have they changed? You know, whatever it might be. And in all honesty, it feels very familiar. I think that's probably the thing I'm thinking. It feels like the original TUSCAN Lands did. Which is not a bad thing, you know, but people do look forward to maps coming out. They played a lot on FS17 or previous incarnations. But then you have to ask yourself, again, there's no disrespect to map makers, modders or anything at all. Have they done enough to bring it forward, you know, bring it forward into the new age? Right, so I was going for the main store, but I've missed that by a long shot, haven't I? Yeah, I should have turned right and gone up that way. So alright, we'll get back to it in a second. So we are over here at the moment then at the Consorzio. This is the first of the sell points we're going to have a quick look at. What we'll do is we'll come back round, we'll do the shop, and yeah, we'll go around. We'll get there, don't you worry. Right, let's have a look. Yeah, this does feel, you know, that's what I don't want to do. I don't want to do the map makers a disservice. I would imagine there's been a lot of texture changing and various different things, and to convert maps over is no mean feat. It's no easy task to do. People just think it's a simple case of, oh yeah, just take your old map and put it into the thing and it's done, isn't it? That's not how it works. It's a quite complicated process. I know from talking to Alien Jim, it's not easy, you know. So that's your Consorzio sell point. Big open area. Plenty of room for big machinery. That's one thing about this map. It's a European map. You know, people say, oh, I don't like these small, tight European maps. It's a European map, but it's a lot of big open space here. You know, you can move bigger machinery around. There's not a huge amount of traffic that we've come across. So as you are moving machinery around, you're not running into cement mixers and lorries and stuff all the time. Textures and things seem to be, from first glance again, from the kind of standard Giants palette, so to speak, which is sort of handier for landscaping and stuff. What we'll do is head over the top. Actually, let's go around this way. Excuse me, going across the thing there. Now, this was, I thought, Agriturismo Italia. This was a sell point, wasn't it? I'm sure it was a sell point on FS17. Nice detail, like waterfall and. It's cool actually, I like that. Didn't actually do that any justice. Let's have a quick look. I like the fact it kind of turns off until you look at it. Whoa, there it goes. Cool. Right, well, I'm going to get to the store at some point, you know. We will get there. So, heading off round to the store. Follow the sweep round, and we need to take a left, I think. We're going to miss this completely. Am I going to go over the top of the road that I should... Oh no, the store's over this way. We're getting there. So all the sale points are pretty much around the outer edges of the map on this one. Nothing in the way of the sort of bulk of fields across the middle. And we come into the store. Ah yes, because I remember when I did the first look on this in FS17, I said about how the store looked like a sports car, you know, forecourt, you know. It was very modern and lots of glass, and it looked like somewhere you'd buy Lamborghinis from, you know. Although that said, you know, the textures look, it still looks a little bit flat on the front. just first impressions. That's, you know, it's what I'm seeing in front of me. So you've got your repair point just there. Repair, sell, customise. Actual store point vent being worked on. Very nice indeed. I assume we have to go inside now, do we, for that then? Is the spinning disc inside? Oh, very open area. Oh, there you go. So if you want to come in to do it, I know you can do it from your menu. If I just press, you know, I can go in and buy and sell just by pressing on my menu. But if you want to do it actually in the store, if you want to come in, there you go, L3 on there. There we go. Whoa, that was weird. Coming back out of there puts you outside the wall. So I didn't actually come back out through the doorway. Okay, so that's the store. So we've gone from the main farm. We did a bit of a loop round. Come round all the way up here. Consorzio, up past the waterfall, which is just here. Round the loop into the store. What we're going to do now is head across. And I think we'll do... We might go up into the town and then do these ones round. We'll work our way around it. We'll as we're doing it, we're going to get a nice feel for the lie of the landscape. What I'll try and do is avoid chatting too much between points. So what I can do is maybe skip a couple of bits, because the map is very open. There's a lot of space here between. So we're going to take a left here. We're going to head up into the walled town. Then we'll come back round and do the ones on the outside. And this is fantastic. I mean, it looks incredible, doesn't it? That kind of old medieval walled town. Although I have to say, I'm finding, I don't know if it's just me personally, I don't know. I'm finding it looks a little bit flatter and weirdly less detailed than it did on 17. I don't just imagining that maybe, but it does seem to be. I don't know if it's the ground texture that's doing that. The buildings look like they've got lots of detail and stuff on. But anyway, we've got the wall all the way around the outside. We head through the town itself. Got a lot more detail here on the buildings as we come through, and then we've got the hotel sell point just here, right in the middle of the town. This has been opened up quite a lot, I think, to put the hotel in it. And then we've got the other exit out the other side of the walled town, which brings us out towards the other side of the map, just over there. And we'll head back to the tractor. And we'll head back out. Right, so we'll take a left here and head out towards the wood sale point sawmill. And the forest, like I say, is up that northeast corner of the map. And it rises up off the landscape, up the hillside. So take a right out of here, up to the sawmill. Under no illusions what's going on here. Nice automatic barrier. Those logs look like sticks of rock. I just as I pulled around there, I suddenly thought, oh look. So right, we've got log sell point is just there. Oh, sound effects. And then our wood chip sell point, it's that one there. There's no hazard marked area unless there's one further round. I assume it's that. Would make sense. The actual forest itself, we go past and then up into the hillside. I won't drive up all the way into the forest. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a forest, isn't it? It has trees and things. We are coming to the northern part of the map here. Turn right here. Now this sweeps right up the hillside, so when you get up to the top you've got quite a good view out across the map. But the tracks kind of lead up. Oh, okay, got one point here. But you can see right through the back there. Plenty of forestry. It's not going to be easy forestry in so much as whenever you've got hillsides involved, cutting down trees and then putting them on the ground, you tend to find, unless you're very careful about their placement, you get a lot of roll, logs disappearing off down the hillside, unless that's what you're intending. Let them roll off down the hillside and then you just collect them all at the bottom. Saves transporting them down the hill, I guess. So, from here, we are now going to head westward across the map. To the next of the sell points. Okay, so we are now, we've gone from the log sell point, we are at Centro Fertilizzanti. That's not on the, it's a buy point. Yeah, the sell points are yellow, aren't they? This is a purchase point. It's got lime over there. Ah, manure. Okay, so manure, so fertilising, so central fertilising point, so lime, fertiliser and slurry we can buy. Nice, okay, that's pretty cool. I do like the fact, I do like it when map makers are putting those onto maps now. Because it was always that kind of, you know, when you start a map up, if you didn't want to go down the chemical fertiliser route and you wanted to be more kind of organic and in keeping with, you know, current trends and whatnot, and you wanted to start using muck spreaders and slurry spreaders and that kind of stuff, you had to wait until you built up quite a head of animals and you had enough there. So the fact that when you started getting mods coming out for those, and now map makers are actually including those into the maps, I like that, it's good. Right, continuing on, northern edge of the map, heading west. Oh, some bales out in the field there. I'm sure they're not available, are they? Or are they? That would be very unusual if they are. I think it might just be a kind of a feature. They don't look like standard bales from the map. And if I drive into one, is it going to let me move it, or am I just going to crash? Yep, that's solid. That's not going anywhere. A decorative feature. Right. Next up. Judging by the look of the bales on the right hand side, this is going to be the barn, I would imagine. Just about to look ahead on the map, shouldn't I? Stop there, open the gate. So over here we've got the marked area. And over this side we've got the chicken coop, I think. Is it? Or is it just a buy point? Where's that gone? Oh, it's the livestock market. Okay, there's not... Okay. Oh, right, so livestock market. So buying, selling or collecting of your livestock will happen right there. I'm just going to double check the map. That is the barn. It is. It's just behind the animal dealer sign. So now we're going to head towards the saw... Hang on a minute. Ah, so that's just selling logs, and then we've got an actual sawmill over here as well. That's interesting. Alright, well, we'll get to that in a second then. So we're heading towards the northwest corner of the map now. All the map heading out to the south. I said beneath us. It's, that direction. I don't know what your feelings are. I mean, I'm a bit torn at the moment. It's kind of that nostalgia thing goes so far. That's weird. The wall just stopping there. Just drive round it, wouldn't you? Right, so I imagine that's going to be lumber and that's wood chips. Again, then it's not very... You go from map to map, and especially when you're doing map tours, some maps everything's marked out incredibly clearly. Are they floating? A little bit of float on the rocks there as well. They lift off the ground a little bit. And then some maps it doesn't seem as apparent. Or is this just wood chips? It just seems to be a lot of wood chips. So maybe it's logs on that one and wood chips on this one possibly then. Well, I've got logs over there as well. Just close that. Okay, so now we're going to start heading south. Down the western edge of the map. So we come up on the biogas plant. Like I say, you do need to buy the biogas plant to be able to use it. Same on every map. The entrance in towards the walled town is just that way. There's a road just heading off that direction. Whoops, I'm in the road. A bit more forest up here to the right as well. Bunker silos, just here. Digester, low level. The information there being you'll be able to tip into that out of a trailer rather than using conveyor belts and stuff. I like that. I do like the low ones. I know Alien Jim often does that, has them ground level. Even if it's got a cover you have to lift up. So I'm assuming then that this is going to be your digestate tank. So anything you put into the biogas plant, you get the byproducts of digestate. I really honestly I don't like to be negative about stuff when it comes out and that. I really don't, but I'm just looking at this nice texture, and you've got this texture kind of across here, whether it's kind of oil or whatever it might be across the ground, kind of spreads out very kind of organically. And then you've got this, like it's been spray painted down, whether there was a building or something next to it that's been removed, or I don't know. That again, it just seems very glaringly obvious when you kind of look around at the texture and it kind of all fades off into the distance, and you've got these very straight edges all of a sudden appear. Anyway, right, that's the biogas plant. Got a couple of shelters over in the background over there, so if you do have vehicles you leave at your biogas plant, it might be you've got conveyor belts you stick away and store it, might be you've got a wheel loader or whatever it is you keep at your biogas plant. So, heading south further, we will have, what have we done? Spinnery. Whoa, what is that? Okie dokie. Again, that's glaringly obvious. That's a kind of a rock formation, I'm not sure. I shall leave you to form your own opinion. There's a few of them actually. Now I know before anyone starts doing the whole, because they do, how could Giants have allowed this to happen? How can a map come out of the Scott? Obvious, the thing about it is you've got to remember, when they go into Giants they get tested. They don't necessarily get gameplay tested, like someone driving around the map doing this. They will test, they'll check out all the files, there'll be algorithms that get run, stuff to make sure things are working, that everything is as it should be. Things like this, like texture things, it doesn't always pick up. So you're going to get that situation where, and I've said before, the more people that play on a map, and when a map gets released, as people go round parts of the map that potentially you don't normally go to, you know what people are like, they like to explore and they go off and they find things. That's when you generally find odds and ends that are missing, or textures and things like that. So potentially we're going to get an update. The other thing you often find as well is when guys do preparation. It's all done on PC. Everything's done on PC. All the conversions are done for console. Everything that needs to be altered for console, but they have no way of testing that. So when it's done on the PC and all the conversions are done, it may look perfectly fine on PC. And like I say, my frame of reference for that is talking to Alien Jim. Then when the console version then gets released, they'll often go on and go, hang on a minute, that's not the texture I used, or that shouldn't be like that, or this shouldn't be like that. And you get those glitches, you get those ghosts in the machine, those little things that don't quite work right. And that's why you often get updates, things that come out. This will be the spinnery, I would imagine, for your wool and your cotton. We will have a look on the map. We've come down from the biogas plant, down the western edge of the map. We've headed across here. We are now at the spinnery, which leaves us with only the Cooperativa and the Zuccherificio, which is our sugar refinery, to go. I think there's some more forestry on the bottom here, and all our fields in the middle. There are quite a lot of lanes and tracks and stuff that run in between them. So let's get off those last couple of sell points. I thought I would cut across the field. Just get out, look at the texture and stuff. And what I think you realise very quickly is you don't realise the size of the fields. When I start look at the map and you think, cool, prices are a bit high for the fields. Some of these fields are incredibly big. So you have got that kind of American feel on a European map. Big farming, you can get away with a lot of big machinery on this. The yards, all the space you've got here, massive amount of space. So this is your sugar refinery, this is the sugar sell point. But this is where you can sell your potatoes, your sugar beet and your sugar cane. Just there. I thought the chimney might be belching smoke. And then we'll head off the Consorzio just now. More woodland off to the right, bit more sparse, the forestry on this side, but plenty to do. And if you wanted to buy it up and then do logging on it and then convert it, there's loads over in that direction. Stick some more fields in if you wanted to, or plant more trees if you wanted to. There we go, to the last sell point on the map, which is tucked just around here very neatly. We are now down, oh not Consorzio, sorry, the Cooperativa. So we're now down in the southwest corner of the map, and you've got all of this. I mean, that is all forestry. Actually, that's almost as big an area as the top right, isn't it? Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. So what we'll do now is swing around the bottom of the map along the southern edge. It is a very big open map. I think we've had a couple of small maps recently come out with Mini Brun and my mind's gone blank. Seg. Having one that actually fills up the full map area, it suddenly feels very, very large, you know. And it is very open, there's plenty of space on here. So what we'll do now is we'll head back up. We're kind of coming, following the roadway. We're on the southern part of the map, but we're kind of heading up in towards the middle. We'll try and find a route back in towards the main farm. And that's all the sell points. Like I say, there are a few things that are glaringly obvious. Again, when I will get comments. I know I will, because people say, "Oh, you're being unfair to the modders, the map makers." It's, you know, they're doing their best. And I totally get that. I can't do a map tour and go around, and when you see something that's glaringly obvious in front of you, if I don't mention it, people then say, "Oh, you only ever say nice things about people's maps, and there was this, there was that, and you missed this and missed that." I haven't missed anything. I'm trying to point out, make sure you kind of get a fair and honest review of what I'm looking at. You can see for yourself as I'm going around whether it's for you, whether it's your cup of tea, whether it's something you would like to play on. I'm just kind of opening that up to you to have a look. So let's head down. I'm trying to think. Let's go this way. But there you go. This is the converted Tuscan Lands for FS19. It is seasons ready. I meant to say that as well. It is seasons ready. One thing I do need to check is the reset point. That was what I was going to do, wasn't I? Oh, bumpy track there. Actually, let's do that now. If I go into here and let's pick a vehicle, for example, let's go onto the other tractor and press reset. Where has it reset it to? Well, it hasn't appeared in the yard, so I'm assuming the reset point is here at the store. I'll click on that now. It is. So if you were to tip something over, roll it, put it in a ditch, in a lake, on its roof, and you need to reset it, that's where it will reset back to the main store. And there you go, as we head back down towards the main farm area. I hope you found this useful and informative in some way, shape or form. If you have, give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. If you want to share this video, please be my guest. Whatever you should choose to do. As always, thanks for watching.